Hi guys! What an amazing episode, what an emotional roller coaster. But before I get into my review, if you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I summarize and review the latest and Serkan Kapımı episodes. Say what I like, what I didn't like, what I noticed, what might happen next. If you like these kinds of videos, subscribe to my channel and we will meet on a weekly basis. Before I get into the amazing Eda and Serkan storyline, let's talk a little bit about the other storylines. First, we have Engin and Pugul. In this episode, we find out that Engin is interested in Pugul, but he doesn't really know how to get to her because he already tried in Antalya and it didn't really get him that far. He had to come up with something else. So he talked to Jagan, kind of tries to spend a lot of time with her near Pugul so Pugul gets jealous, and that's what she does. So she really gets jealous when Jagan drives Engin to work, when Jagan is in his office. So Pugul is very jealous of Jagan and not liking Jagan near Engin one bit. And the moment that I was like, okay, this is totally planned by Engin, was when Jagan was actually in Engin's office and she said, well, we talked about it, we have to spend a lot of time together to get Pugul to notice something. So I'm really excited to see how this will play out. I don't know if Engin will kind of fall in love with Jagan because he spends so much time with her, because I also kind of want to see him with her but also with Pugul. It's kind of hard for me. Then we also have Aydan and Alptekin. So Aydan is still very shocked by the, not negatively shocked but positively shocked by the fact that she got past the gate. So she's trying it again. Seyfi sees that. You could really see her struggle because she really wants to, but her body doesn't let her. So Seyfi kind of motivates her to talk to Alptekin and she calls him and says, can you please come home because it's urgent? But he was so cold. When I saw him talking to her like that, hearing that she's crying, she's kind of desperate for him to be by her side because he's her husband, he's her rock, and for him to be like that, to be an actual rock without feelings, is kind of sad. And to see her break down like that really broke my heart. But I think before that, when Serkan got home, she stayed up to congratulate him, to give him her present, and Alptekin actually hears them cheering, like her and Seyfi talking to Serkan, and she's kind of talking about Alptekin, saying that he's quite boring and that she would love for him to be more active, more spontaneous, kind of like Eda. And that's when Serkan says, well, are you starting to like Eda? And she's downplaying it. Anyways, Alptekin hears all of that, that he's very boring, that he's only in this routine and she doesn't like that, blah blah blah. So the next day he actually changes up his outfit. So she's really confused what happened to him, why this sudden change. And that's when her and Seyfi are doing this magazine quiz. So that's kind of another force, another push for her to change, to face her fears. And it's still quite a long way to go, but in the meantime she sends Seyfi to kind of tail Alptekin and send her pictures wherever he goes. Then we also have Selin and Ferit. The only thing that I can say about the storyline is that she is very frustrated with Ferit and the fact that she has to lie for him because he sent the contract to Kaan. And she's also quite afraid of Jagan because she doesn't want Jagan to find out about the contract. Then we also have Melek and Kaan. So Kaan is again trying to sugarcoat Melek, trying to get information from her. She's really weak, as we saw with Ayfer. So Ayfer tried to get some information about Melek. Why is she behaving like that? Why is she avoiding everybody? Why is she on a diet? Why? There are so many questions. The way she did it was to get her into the kitchen, saying that she needs some help with her pancakes. She was talking so smoothly with Melek and Melek was kind of like hypnotized, and that's when she talked about Kaan, that he's Serkan's enemy, that she didn't tell Eda about it, blah blah blah, and Ayfer gets really upset. But what kind of made me think, okay, this will be a problem in the near future, is that Ayfer said, I will keep this secret, but you have to tell her pretty soon. But because we know Melek, she will drag this out. I think when when Eda will finally get to know this whole truth, she will also be quite disappointed in Ayfer because Ayfer knows the secret and didn't tell her anything, and I think that's going to push her further away and maybe push her to go to Italy for good. But that's just my theory. Anyways, back to Melek and Kaan. Kaan wants to meet up with her. She says that she will go home to eat something. He says, well, I can come too, blah blah blah. So he's inviting himself. And then when they arrive home, Eda is actually home taking a shower, but she left the documents near the entrance, and those documents were very important because it's a design Serkan worked a long time on. For her to just leave them there, it was like, no, don't do that. And then of course Eagle-Eye Kaan sees them, says to Melek something just to keep her away so he can take some pictures, and that actually reminded me of Erkan Kush, where Eileen was taking pictures, or it wasn't actually Eileen who took the pictures, but still she got the pictures and released them before Can could release his photo shoot. And that's exactly what Kaan does in Kapımı. He takes pictures of the design. He tells another person to quickly replicate this design and put the pictures on the internet, and then he sends the links to Serkan, which will be a huge bomb drop, but I will talk about it later. Is there anything else like the side storylines? I don't think so. We can move on to Eda and Serkan's storyline. So the episode starts with the hug, of course, Celine watching them. Eda is the first one to push away. You could really see that Serkan was enjoying the hug. Eda then gets quite awkward, where I was like, okay, why? And then they drive away, but they drive past Celine, and I'm like, how blind can you be? Because she's right there. I don't know. It was kind of weird, but maybe that's movie magic. When they arrive at Eda's place, they talk a little bit more, and he asks her, does she regret the engagement? And she says that things have changed between them. So maybe in a positive way, but she doesn't really know that it's actually love for her and also for him, but she doesn't know her feelings. She can't put them in a box and saying, okay, I'm in love with him. He gives her his guitar pick, and she was flipping out like a fangirl. He was quite amazed that she was so happy just because of a guitar pick and not happy with a diamond ring or something. So that's also a moment when he looks at her with loving eyes, kind of an adoring look in my opinion. In her room, she actually hangs the guitar pick next to his destroyed picture. Ayfer sees that, and then she realizes, okay, Eda is falling in love. She also tells Eda that, and that's the moment where Eda's like, okay, I have to keep a distance because in a couple of months this contract is going to end, and I don't want to get my feelings involved in this, so it's easier for me to detach myself from him. At breakfast, we have Melek telling the girls and also Ayfer that she heard Celine talking to Serkan that they should meet up because they still need to talk about the thing they wanted to talk about in Antalya. So in that moment, you could really see that Eda didn't like the idea of Celine and Serkan going on a date, and it kind of hurt her. And then he picks her up. She's actually, that was quite a funny moment because he was outside his car. She was looking through the gates at him. He catches her, and then he's like, what are you doing? And then she's all flustered and coming downstairs. It was so funny, that moment. Anyways, he tries to have small talk with her, being like last night, but she's very cold, very distant, and he's also quite confused. What just happened? Why are you behaving like that? And then I think she asks him if he has any plans tonight, and he's like, no, I don't. So she was asking if he has plans because of the dinner date she heard from Melek. But I think that he was hoping that she wants to spend time with him because it's his birthday, but she doesn't say anything to him. So he's like, okay, did she forget my birthday? I don't know. On the drive to work, Engin calls Serkan, kind of faking this whole crisis thing just to get Serkan quickly to where he was. And it turns out they're at Serkan's place, and I don't know if I'm missing something. And how did they get there? I don't know, I don't remember. Anyways, all the people from the office are at Serkan's place, and Engin tells Serkan the happy news that the design Serkan worked for months on and tried to sell it abroad was kind of bought from a foreign hotel, whatever. They want to work with Serkan, and it's actually the first time that hotel works with foreign people. The next step would be for the documents to get not licensed, patented, you know, saying that this is your design, nobody can steal it, whatever. Engin says that they need somebody, but that somebody will be away the whole day. Or I think before that, I'm really sorry, Serkan talks with Engin about Celine and Ferit, and he's actually talking about the fact that he doesn't like that Ferit is at the holding, and Celine knows his distaste towards Ferit. And that's when Eda comes in, because in that moment he says, Celine knows how I feel about that, so it's either Ferit or I. Eda thinks it's about the relationship, about the engagement, but it's actually about work. So there's this misunderstanding where I'm like, why? Like, it's so typical, and I saw it coming, but when I saw it I was like, no, I don't want you here. I don't want this misunderstanding. I want them to be happy, but at the same time I'm like, okay, if there's no drama, then the story won't evolve and they won't grow, they won't admit their feelings towards each other, blah blah blah. So there needs to be some drama. So anyways, there's this misunderstanding. Eda walks away really hurt by what she heard, and I think that's when Engin says about this whole legal stuff and they need to copyright it, blah blah blah. And that's when Eda says, okay, I will go because I'll be gone the whole day. Serkan doesn't like the idea of Eda being away for that long, but she volunteers. Serkan is trying to make sure that she knows what she's doing, because that folder is the only folder there is of this design, of this contract kind of. So she has to take great care of it. As soon as she walks out, she calls Fifi for help because she doesn't know anything. Fifi saves the day, helps her. Before that, oh my god, I'm forgetting so many things. I'm really sorry. Before that, after Eda heard Serkan talking to Engin about Ferit and Celine, Serkan asks Eda to get flowers to Celine as a thank you for making this project possible and being part of the team, blah blah blah. Kind of a formal thank you. She gets really upset because of what she has to write on the card. What kind of frustrated me was the fact that she didn't really write what he said, so she kind of wrote a little love letter, and I'm like, exactly like what Ceren said. Why did you write that love letter? Like, why? But anyways, she goes home after she filed that blah blah blah. She goes home, arranges all those flowers, writes the card. Ceren comes. Ceren kind of tries to open her eyes, being like, why is he sending those flowers with that card to Celine? And that's when Eda kind of bursts. She has to release herself. She has to tell somebody about the secret. So Ceren is the only person to know about the contract, to know about what is actually between them. Anyways, after she's done with the flowers, she goes inside, takes a shower. That's when she leaves the folder near the entrance. That's when Kaan takes the pictures. It was a really close call. Anyway, she goes back. He tells her to sit down next to him. She doesn't understand why, because she still has work to do, kind of. In the meantime, while she was away, Serkan actually got a lot of presents from people he worked with, blah blah blah, and he always kind of hands them out because he doesn't really like to be celebrated. But he sees a box of chocolate, so he puts them on Eda's place and takes the card away. So he knows she likes chocolate, and that was, even if it was such a small gesture, it still meant a lot. Eda came, saw the box. She was really confused because after Eda sat down, Celine and Melek appear. Celine says thank you for the flowers, they were so nice, blah blah blah, and the card, because when she got the flowers she was very oh my god, he wrote that to me, oh my god. But anyways, he didn't, girl, he didn't. Malek sees the card, takes a picture of it, is really angry or kind of like, what the hell is going on? Why did you write that card? Because I recognize your flower arrangement. Why did you do that? Anyways, when she says thank you to Serkan, the first moment he was really confused, like, what are you talking about? But then he looks at Eda. Eda looks really sad, and then he's like, oh yeah, the flowers. Then they have this little meeting, Engin trying to get Serkan to kind of celebrate his birthday, but they're like, no, we know you, you don't want that, blah blah blah. Serkan trying to change the subject, trying to focus more on the invasion of privacy, blah blah blah. Celine is about to go away, but then she turns around and is like, okay, I have to say something. So she goes to Eda, and then she's like, well, I want to organize a birthday party for Serkan, or a dinner, and blah 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 blah. So there's this kind of face-to-face standoff between Celine and Eda, and Eda is not backing down. So Celine had a really hard time. Eda played quite cool and is like, okay, I will make a reservation for 8 o'clock tonight. She picks a really nice place. She tells Serkan about it. Eda knows that Serkan doesn't want to do anything tonight, like on his birthday, but she kind of wants to test him. So she makes the reservation, goes to him, tells him about it, and then she's like, if you don't want to, I can cancel it anytime. But he says no, and that's kind of dampening Eda's mood, and it's like, okay, he really cares for her, so it's not me, but her. Or before that, Serkan actually questions Eda what was written on that card, and she said again something different, where she was like, you decorate my day, or something like that, like really poetic. And then he also asks her, why are you this distant towards me? And then she's like, well, that's what you wanted. I mean, of course, girl, that's what he wanted in the beginning, but not now. Like, can't you see that he's kind of falling for you? Like, how blind can he be? Anyways, after she tells him about the reservation, she goes home. Engin tries to convince Serkan to take a break. It's his birthday, just relax a little bit. And that's when Serkan kind of opens up, because Engin is like, is there a problem between you and Eda? And Serkan is like, well, I thought she organized a surprise party for me, or she organized something for my birthday, but the only thing she did was organize a dinner with Celine. And that's when Engin kind of tries to give him advice. Anyways, we see Serkan waiting for Celine at that beautiful spot. He has a beautiful scenery looking out the sea. Celine is like he was in episode 2 or so, where he was not very interested in the scenery, in the surroundings, and now because of Eda, he actually appreciates everything around him. And then it kind of gets serious, where he's like, well, you know, my feelings towards Ferit being in the holding, blah blah blah, he's not the man for you, so if you don't break up, I think you have to sell me your shares of the holding. She's very shocked, like, why would he do that? And then his phone rings, and it's actually Malek wishing him a happy birthday. And that's when she also says she wanted to organize a party, but Eda said he doesn't like parties on his birthday, blah blah blah. And she also tells him that she has a birthday present for him, like Eda, and where she actually is. And that's where he goes, and that's what we saw in the trailer when he appears behind her. Oh my god, like, this was so amazing. So she's like, what are you doing here? How was it with Celine? I thought you were with her having dinner, blah blah blah. And he says, well, we had a great time, but you pay more for the scenery than for food or something like that. So he's still very hungry. And then she's like, well, this place is clean, so don't worry, because we know he's kind of a clean freak. Get something to eat as well, and it's so adorable to see them both there. Then they walk to Eda's car. He says, well, Malek told me you have a birthday present for me, blah blah blah. And she gets kind of annoyed because Malek gave it away, so she gives him the present. And when she's going towards the car to get the present, he actually tries to sit down on the steps, but you can really see him checking out where he's sitting. Is it dirty or not? It was a short moment, but it was really funny. She also gives him a cupcake and tells him to make a wish, and he's like, shh, I'm making a wish. Anyways, he unpacks his present, and then she's like, well, I thought, what can you give somebody who has everything? And then he answered it himself and is like, you gave me the world. and it was really interesting with the floating globe. It was really nice. You could really see that she put a lot of thought into it. The next day we have Serkan and Kaan actually calling Melek and Eda, and both of them are like, don't come because the other person is here, blah blah blah. Serkan actually wanted to pick Eda up because he wants to show her where the plot of land is for the project that she took on, and Engin actually told Layla the day before to clear his schedule because he will go there with, like, Serkan will go there with Eda. Eda is like, no, I will drive there myself, thank you very much, we will meet there. On the way there, her car actually breaks down. He calls her, she tells him that, he turns around, picks her up, tells his friend to fix the car up. She's not very impressed. When they get there, she's kind of doubting herself and also this whole situation between them, and that's when she asks what will happen after the contract ends, because this project will take way longer. And that's when he says, I trust you, I know that you will get this done within a month, blah blah blah, don't worry about it, you're very talented, blah blah blah. So kind of encouraging her not to doubt herself. And then she looks at this land, blah blah blah. After that, he calls Layla to see what's next appointment. Layla says that Engin actually told her to clear the schedule, so now he has free time with Eda. That's when he says, okay, I will show you the land where I will build a port. So because they still have a lot of time left, Eda says she wants to go home, because before that Serkan actually invited her over to his place for a coffee, but she's like, no, I would rather go home. On the drive home, Serkan calls Engin to tell that everybody should meet at his place, that they should keep working. Engin is like, no, everybody is going home. Serkan is like, I don't care. And it's because Eda wanted to go home as well, and because she's in his company, she also has to be there at his place. So he kind of got his way. They have a little meeting how they're going to proceed with the whole chandelier thing. Kaan calls Engin, says, well, take a look on the internet, because Kaan put the pictures of the copy on the internet. Serkan gets really angry because Eda was the only person with the design, so Eda had to send Kaan those pictures. It's Eda's fault, nobody else's, blah blah blah. Eda is really angry, like, why is she being the one at fault? Because she did what he asked her to do. She had the folder, yes, but she didn't give Kaan anything. So there's this whole fight between them. The things that he said to her were really hurtful, him doubting her and also kind of saying that it's her fault, that she did it on purpose, blah blah blah. And then Serkan is like, well, now it makes sense why you were so distant the last couple of days, because you felt guilty of giving Kaan the design. And then Eda says, if you're seriously thinking that, then I will leave and you will never see me again. And you could really see that hope in her eyes, that she's like hoping for him to say, no, stay, I trust you, I believe you. But he says, go. And I'm like, oh my god, why did you say that? Oh my god, Serkan, have you lost your mind? And that's the end. So we got a trailer where we see that Eda is desperately trying to prove to Serkan that it's not her fault, that she wasn't the one giving the designs to Kaan. We see the girls kind of like Fifi and Jagan next to a board, kind of trying to figure out, okay, when did what happen? How did the design get to Kaan? We also see a scene where Melek is standing quite in the back and Eda is walking towards the camera, quite angry. So I have a feeling that maybe Melek confessed that Kaan is her boyfriend. I don't know. We also see Serkan driving around with Celine not liking the fact that he's driving around with the top down because her hair gets destroyed, but he's kind of gotten used to this way of driving because of Eda. We also see them at dinner, but she keeps looking around, so I'm not sure about that, like what's going on. Then we also hear Aydan saying that she doesn't understand when did Serkan get so like cold and not really trusting people, like when did did this change happen? Then we also see Serkan going for a walk with his dog and actually seeing Eda in the background at the bottom of the stairs, and then the next frame is her sitting on the stairs being quite sad. I don't know what's that about. Maybe he sat there a little bit, maybe he said let's meet up there and she didn't come, like she hid from him, and then he was really sad and disappointed, and that's when he went away and she appeared and that's why she's sad. I don't know, that's just my feeling. What else can I say or predict for next episode? It's really hard. I really do think they will find out who did it and how Kaan got to the pictures, because if you think logically, Eda filed those documents at a certain time. Those pictures appeared at a certain time the next day. So if they put two and two together, kind of going back this trail, I don't know, in my head it made way more sense. But yeah, all the other things that I think will happen I already said. I think if I forgot anything, I'm really sorry. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this episode, what you think might happen next. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell to be notified whenever I post something, and I will see you next time. Bye!